you. I'm back. Mia's on a roll today. She mixed up orders 3 times, so I had to be a diplomat, a firefighter, and a therapist all at once. But I remember what I promised. Part 2. We ended on how to prepare for a date, how to choose a place, what to wear, and what to talk about. That was, let's say, the theoretical part. Reconnaissance. But now we are moving on to practice, to the real meat of it. Picture this: you're already sitting down. The order is placed. The first polite phrases have been said. Masks are on. And this is where the real game begins. I call this the combat zone, because it's precisely at this moment when the food arrives, the people relax. They let the guard down and they start to give themselves away. In this part, we'll talk about things that could save your evening or your life. Well, maybe not your life, but definitely your nervous system. I'll tell you about my phone theory, and trust me, it's not what you think. About secret signals that tell you the date has failed, even if you both think everything is fine. About how to gracefully slip away if you realize the person in front of you is unbearable or simply dangerous. And of course, about red flags, real ones. Ready? Then put your phone away, look me in the eyes, and listen. Because in a cafe, just like the jungle, the most observant survive. Tip number 6. Phones. You think a smartphone on a date is just a bad habit? No. After a year of observations, I've developed a whole theory. On a date, a phone is a weapon, a shield, or a distress signal. Look, almost 90% of people, when they sit down at the table, put the phone in front of them, not in a bag, not in a pocket, on the table, and almost always screen down. People think this is a gesture of politeness, like, see, I'm flipping it over so I won't be distracted by notifications. I'm all yours. Lies. It's a lie we tell ourselves. I call this the emergency button position. When your phone is on the table, even screen down, you're leaving the communication channel open. You're saying, I'm here, but I'm not fully here. I have an escape route. If it gets boring, if there is an awkward pause, I can flip it over and escape into the internet. It's inference. It's like sitting on packed suitcases. You're technically in the room, but the door is open. And then there are those who put the phone screen up. Oh, that's a whole different breed. That's not just disrespect. It's a statement. I'm waiting for something more important than you. I've seen couples where both phones were lying screen up, and every 3 minutes the screens would light up. Messages, likes, news, and every time the person's gaze would twitch. Down, up, down, up. There's not dialogue. It's waiting in a airport lounge. They're both just waiting for something interesting to happen there in the screen, because here with each other they feel empty. But you know what really impresses me? It's rare. Maybe one case out of 100. A person sits down, takes out the phone and put it in the bag or in an inside jacket pocket, deep, so they can't grab it in a second. That is the most powerful signal you can send. It says, I'm burning my bridges. I'm cutting off my escape routes. I'm here with you, and let the whole world wait for an hour and a half. I've seen how this changes the atmosphere. Once a guy put his phone in his backpack and zipped it up. The girl watched this, smiled, and put hers in her purse. And that was it. Magic. They stopped being users. They became people. They looked into each other's eyes, not at the edge of the table. They stayed until closing. So, my advice: want to make an impression, want to truly get to know someone, put the damn phone away completely. Make this a radical gesture, because if you leave it on the table, you're leaving a thought wheel in your conversation. Point number 7. How to understand what's really happening. People lying with words. I'm so interested. You're so funny. Great story. People are trained to be polite. We nod, smile, even when we want to yell. But the body can't lie. And if you know where to look, you can read a date like an open book. Signal number 1. Fit. It's a classic, but it works. If the tablecloth isn't long, I always look at the feet. If the toes are pointed toward the other person, everything great. there is a connection. But if even one foot is pointed toward the door, or just toward the aisle, the person's subconscious has already left the cafe. They might be smiling, they might be laughing, but the body is already in starting position. It's preparing to run. I've checked. If I see feet toward the exit, dessert usually doesn't get ordered. Signal number 2. The bathroom. Telegraph. If a person goes to the bathroom with the phone in hand and comes back in exactly 7 to 10 minutes with a mysterious look, that's a bad sign. You can wash your hands and fix your hair in 1 minute. In 7 minutes, you can write a detailed report in a group chat. He or she is weird, bored to death. What do I do? That's not a bathroom. It's a headquarters meeting, and the person come back with new instructions. Women more often ask me for help directly. Sometimes they come up to me at the bar on the way back. They whisper, "Please come over in 10 minutes and say you're closing," or "Bring the check as fast as you can." I always nod. Female solidarity is sacred. Guys rarely ask for help out loud. They just sit there longer, scroll through the phone, delay returning to the table. But the point is the same. If your companion is running to the bathroom every 20 minutes, I have news for you. Either they have a health issue, or they just don't want to be at the table. Signal number 3. The dessert test. This is my favorite indicator. The final exam. When the main course is finished, the moment of truth arrives. One person suggests maybe dessert or another coffee. This is the key moment. It's an offer to extend the date by another 30 to 40 minutes. If the other person answers, "I'd love to," that's a win. If the answer is, "Oh no, I'm full, I don't eat sweets, I have to get up early tomorrow," that's it, finita. Even if they really don't eat sweets. If a person wants to stay, they'll order tea, water, just sit. Refusing dessert without an alternative is a polite way of saying, "My time is up. I want to go home." Don't fool yourself. If you see these signs, don't try to resuscitate a corpse. The date is dead. Accept it and keep your dignity. Tip number 8. Things that make me want to pour soup on SummerSlam. There are actions that instantly kill any romance. I call this the Blacklist. If your companion does these things, run. First, treatment of staff. I'll keep repeating this until I lose my voice. This is the most accurate test of character, a true litmus test. A person can be an angel to you, pay compliments, give flowers, but if they snap their fingers at me to get my attention, if they don't look me in the eye when ordering, if they speak to me in the tone of a boss addressing a subordinate, that shows how they treat people who depend on them or who they consider beneath them. Today it's me, tomorrow when your honeymoon is over and you get sick and depend on them, it'll be you. I've seen people scream at a barista for cold coffee then and meet later. Smile sweetly at the date. The companion shrank. They felt that coldness. Don't ignore this. Second, making decisions for you. The waiter comes over and your companion says she'll have a salad and water, and I'll have the steak. Wait, did you ask? Maybe the person wants a burger. Maybe they hate salad. Some people think this is caring or confidence. No, it's control. If this happens on the first date, it's a huge red flag. Doesn't matter if it's a guy or a girl. Today, they decide what you'll eat. Soon, they'll be deciding what you wear and who you're friends with. I've seen these caring types. Usually, your companion sits with very straight backs and barely speak. Creepy sight. Third, touching without permission. You've known each other for 40 minutes and they're already trying to hour your hand with those, or even worse, put the hand off your back or on your knee under the table. You pull your hand away. They do it again. That's not patient. That violating boundaries. The body doesn't lie. If you're shrinking from a touch, that's a signal. Your body is screaming. Danger. Listen to it. Tip number 9. The one I promised in the last part. What do you do if things are bad? The person isn't dangerous now. They are just unbearable. They chew with their mouths open, only talk about work or their mom, make unfunny, offensive jokes, or just scare you with passionate. You're sitting there thinking, I can't take another hour of this. But how do you live? Stand up and say, you're boring? Rude. Sit there and suffer? Bad for your health. I have a guide. I call it Operation Exit. Main rule: never, and I mean never, wait until the end of dinner out of politeness. Your time is worth more. Method 1. Sudden realization. The classic works every time if you can do scared eyes. At any pause you looked at your watch or phone, take a breath and say, oh my God, I totally forgot. I have a meeting and 7 tomorrow. A flight, a project deadline. I got my days mixed up. I need to run and prepare right now. Nobody argues with work or flights. Those are sacred. You stand up, you apologize. Important: always have cash on you. Throw some bills on the table for your coffee. Don't wait for the check. Don't wait for the card machine. Those are wasted minutes when they'll start trying to convince you to stay. Money on the table, sorry, I'm so sorry, bye. And you vanish. Method 2. The rescue call. For pros: remember a phone on the table. Here's the one case when you need it. Arrange with friend beforehand. Have they call you 30 minutes after the date starts. That's your check-in call. If everything good, you reject it or quickly say, I'm busy, I'll call you back. If everything bad, you answer. Put on a serious face. Listen to silence or your friends' chatter and say in a worried voice, you're kidding? Seriously? Your pipe burst? Your dog ran away? It's an emergency? I'm on my way. Hang in there. Your hand up. Look at your companion with regret. My friend has an emergency. They need me. I'm sorry. And you leave. Yes, it's alive. But we're at war. And in the war, for you, peace of mind. All's here. I've seen this stick 1,000 times. I always know when a call is fake. People are bad actors when they're nervous, but I never give them away. I even play along, bring the coat faster, and the final rule of escape. Don't let them walk you home. This might be my paranoia, but it saved lives. If the date is bad, if the person is strange, they should know where you live. Say, I call a taxi, it's already outside, or I'm going the other way, I'm meeting a friend. Go to a crowded place. Take detours. Don't let someone you're running from along your edges. Better safe than sorry. And the last, the 10th tip. Everything I've said up to now, that's logic, observation, etiquette. But there is something more important. Intuition. I've seen people who behaved perfectly. The person was dressed impeccably, polite, generous, said all the right, beautiful things, but the companion across from them sat on beans and needles, smiling by the shoulders were tense, fidgeting with a napkin, fear in their eyes, not even understanding why. Everything seemed fine, right? You know what's the date? That's an ancient instinct. This instinct for sensing danger. we city dwellers have almost lost it, but in moments of danger, it wakes up. Our discussions picks up micro signals that the brain doesn't yet have process. Instead, that's too intense. A smile that's too quick. Strange questions. Do you live alone? Are your neighbors quiet? No one going to be looking for you? That's not interest. That's data collection. If you feel this, if there is a chill in your stomach, if you want to pull away, even though they haven't done anything wrong, if they're smiling but you're scared, don't ignore it. Don't tell yourself, I'm just overthinking. They're nice. I can be just paranoid. Be paranoid. Paranoid people survived. Optimists don't. If your cat screams, run. Pay for your coffee and run. It doesn't matter how stupid or rude it looks. Your safety is more important than politeness. I saw someone who silenced their fear. Politeness one. I saw that look of a cornered animal in their eyes. So their hands shake when they gathered their things, but they still agreed when the other one offered to drive them home. I never saw that person here again. I hope they're okay. I really hope so. But I'll never forget that look. Please, trust yourself. If you feel like something is wrong, you're not imagining it. Well, there you go. 10 rules for surviving in the jungle of first dates. From a waitress who's seen too much. Maybe I sound cynical. Maybe I've scared you with my spy games and conspiracy theories. But you know, despite all of this, I still believe in dates. I've seen the other side too. I've seen two awkward geeks argue about Star Wars all evening, waving the forks around. And now they come here with a stolen. I've seen a couple who sat silent all evening, looking at each other, and in that silence there was more love than in all of Shakespeare's sonnets. Love happens. Logic can't explain it. But my rules, they're not about love. They're about safety. Arrived early, take the high ground. Seat facing the exit. Control the perimeter. Watch the hands, feet, and phones. And have an exit plan. If you follow these tips, maybe your heart will still get broken. There is no inference against that, but at least you won't get robbed, humiliated, or taken somewhere bad. And that's not a bad result for first date, right? Alright, I have to go. That guy at table 3 has been nervously looking at his watch and fidgeting with the menu for 50 minutes. Looks like his other half isn't coming. I'll go offer him coffee on the house. He needs a little warmth right now. Be careful out there. And remember, Lily sees everything, even what you're hiding under the table.